Go back to map comp. I don't remember anything that I was doing. This looks unrevealed, so I guess we'll go. One waypoint and one heart. Alright, fair enough. Thanks, Zach. Alright. We can close TeamSpeak. And now we just do map comp. Should probably also whisper Quaggan and let her be done. TY for it's IOM is huge for green if you can find them. I will happily roast the noble Ukog. It's too bad, like if we weren't map comping, there's a ton of content out tonight. I would've kept playing. But rules are rules. And the rules are map comp. Why we gotta finish it earlier. So that if there is good content one night, we can actually just go and do that. Can't break that. Like you could. Alright, so that should be most of the upper corner. I think we can just start working our way down. Alright, this Renown Heart, I'm sorry, we have to wiki this Renown. The only way. Where's Alicia? She is a henchman that does healing. Little Tom. I didn't play Guild Wars 1. I have no way of knowing these. The only way is the wiki. Hawk, no. He is Azure Remains. Azure Essence. Close enough. Our Thought Slayer. Collects. Oh, he's a collector. Bolson. He's a merchant. Pagan. He is an armorer. And last but not least, Arn Stone Rift. The monk. Wikipedia heart complete. They're NPCs from Guild Wars 1. So it asks you like what their shit is, and then you go to the Guild Wars 1 wiki and you look it up, and then you type in the correct. That's the gimmick. Oh yeah, I'm still on Hammer. That's fine, I guess. What else we can weapon swap? Fair enough. I'm so excited for lunch tomorrow. Went to the grocery store today because it's Tuesday. Fair enough. I got ciabatta bread. I got some turkey. I got some nice provolone. Got some lettuce in the house. We've got like some premium stone ground yellow mustard. I'm going to have the world's greatest. It's going to be delicious. Problem is you can only get like a half pound of provolone at a time. But it's good to go with crackers and cheese as well. I don't remember if there's a POI inside that. I'm gonna hope. No. But I guess I should really go. There is. Good thing we read. That doesn't go anywhere. Use your brain. It's probably impossible to reach this without a note. So they're not going to put anything. Amazing. I mean, I do still need to kill you. But I at least finished. This is not correct. That's also not correct. This is correct. Commissar? Commissar is not up. Man, he's really going to become a deadlock. Good for him. A little bit of diversity is a positive. Just pick these up and throw them in. I get progress? I do. You might as well. Was there a problem here? Do you not like that I did this? What I thought. That should do. POI up this hill. Named a team after you. I do? Oh, Black Mortar. Okay. I can do that. Now where's the Priory Dropbox? No, there have to be more. Priory Dropbox? Okay, unlucky. Not this time. I don't see any Priory Dropbox. I think I just have to run it back to the renown heart each time. Moderately annoying. At least we've got that. A little bit of this. That takes care of a pretty good portion of it. Waypoint for Soros. And then honestly, get your shield gens. I'm just flying them. Well, then there's the POI, the Vista, and then technically the JP to get to another POI, but we can come at it from the other direction. The Vista, I don't think there's any. That'll do. I have no idea to where I'm going. By the way, I don't remember this. But this looks right. And maybe like over here. This definitely looks right. That looks like it's too far. Probably need to get a little more out. Drop down these things. And there's your Vista. Head. Vista. Like, we might as well grab the chest since we came up. Then we work our way back north. 76%. Back here that I forgot about. POI I forgot about. Two POIs I forgot about. Go waypoint. Looks fine. Take this cave quick. One POI. With a box? Don't mind if I do. Sneaky little ingress along. Take me to the POI. Also, you can get from the jumping puzzle. I think it's right here. You need me to finish your event. I can do that. Really not a lot of dredge in here, Paul, I guess. It might not be scaled very high. Because I killed one of your APCs and you were like, that's enough for us. How can I fight you? That done. I'm not in combat. Play dredge miner. I'll not be picking up any dredge. That's a trap. Trying to trap me into grabbing items for no reason. But also, we need to go way up high in here. Never mind. We'll just go as excavator. And this one. And possibly these two. Like, it's all already on our project. Can't be too mad about it. And I've got confusion on me. I also do need to mine some. My that's renown hard done. Now we can get our combat. Good. Now we can get out of combat. Now you're not going to be able to do that. Do it in 2 phases. Your hero point is. Now we can leave this part anyway. Not going that way. Well, it's we need the iron. We need to mine.
Might as well.
This is a lot of attention that's been attracted to me. Maybe I should have not done the renown art so fast. What's up, Vision? What are you doing? You catch us at the tail end of an early night of World vs. Our squad became too small, enemy squads became. That is fine with me, because it leaves more time. If I can figure out how to get out of this place. Please don't skybox me. Don't hidden wall me. You pieces. You know what? I'm leaving. Tuesdays are K&T. Vic was commanding tonight. I think it's my turn next week. We were fighting Dead, we were fighting IOM, fought Bake twice, and we fought VIP once. Tagged down because they were close, and we were like... K&T goes to bed early. The guild of a bunch of old. This is why my ass is up doing map complete. Because I'm young, I'm not like that. We had, when we were big, we had good fights with IOM. When we were like 25 and they were like 35, we were holding our own. The problem was that they went up to like 40 and we lost people. So we just couldn't quite keep up. It was good though, the content tonight was really fun. Very happy with the current tier that we're in. T4, I think? Like, T4's kind of popping off this week. Cornerstone runs small. Well, Jay was tagged on EVG. So we were split between 2 tags. Like, normally there's a bit of roster sharing going on. We had a couple of people from playing tonight. But Jay was tagged up, and I think there were a couple of people from Apex that normally run with us that were running with him instead. But in general, the only guild in Cornerstone that really runs map queue size is Bully. Everyone else is usually quite a bit smaller. Like, K&T caps out at 30, intentionally. Bomb caps out at like 15. Nova caps out at like 20 to 30 unless it's bug tagging. Definitely a collection of, not necessarily small guilds, but non-Zerg. Non-map queue guilds. Now, what am I missing in here? 1 renown heart? Oh no. Did I forget to finish one? Yes. Like 99% done. This should about take care. No key, bad luck. Not blessed. Alright, Timberline, Mount Maelstrom, Malcor's Leap, and Cursed Shore. 4 to go. And Timberline, dwell a large zone physically, is not that big in terms of what you do. So we should be able to move through this relatively quickly. Also remember that you are looking for a Sunken Cache. Good event spawn luck. Unfortunately, harm is going to come to your minds today. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Dredge mining drill operator. Harm is coming to your minds, like, right. I am the harm. Remind me who you run with, Vision? I think you've told me before, I just... Yeah, Aaron Silker, definitely. Oh, you're on Mass, okay. A guild that I recognize. Yeah. OCD Alliance seems like a fun place. You guys also have a really eclectic mix of guilds that allows you to do a bunch of... like, there's definitely a bit of favoritism for me, obviously, because, like, I'm in Cornerstone. But I just like the way our alliance is set up, where you've got some tags that run larger scale, some tags that run smaller scale. We've got good time zone-ish coverage. Like, we're not a coverage guild, but we're a guild that was intentionally constructed to have a tag running every day. So whether it's Nova, Jay, Bully, or Ruthless, or Tyrion, Blank, or Chaba, like, there's always someone you could at most times in NA Prime. That's just nice. Yeah, I mean, that's the same way that the Cornerstone Alliance was constructed as well. Like, it is mostly FA tags, but the 1 or 2 guilds that we have invited are guilds that we know, but also run in times that a lot of our guilds don't. Yeah, air tags are great. I've noticed, like, being linked to them. Like, they're always around. I'll settle for a dredge excavate. That's not gonna do it, just one. That's not gonna do it, just one more destroyer crab? That's not gonna... I'm so much further away than I thought. I have a general sense of how their commanders might do it, based on how I've seen other groups like VI. But I don't think I'm at liberty to talk about how VIP does that. Conversations happen in their leadership. don't think that I'm allowed to share things in there, even though I'm not technically part of it. They just keep me around because they like me. But I don't contribute like anything. Sorry, I'll move closer to the mic. That should be better. We'll see how that goes. I was saying I have a sense of how that leadership structure might work based on hanging around with VIP a little bit. But I don't think VIP would appreciate me sharing how that structure works because it's all stuff that takes place in their leadership. Or at least how it works for them. I don't think I need to worry about it. Oh, I mean, if there's only 2 regular air commanders, that's crazy. Like, VIP runs, I think, 3 times a day, maybe 4 times a day. But they have like 16 commanders. So they've got the spread for sure. If Air is doing twice daily runs with 2 commanders, that's nuts. Those are people who just love playing the game. I mean, I think VIP structure is not only neat, but also, like, it's effective. They're one of the only big PvX guilds that I know that's never really had any kind of fragmentation. Like, TM is a fairly big PvX guild. Was it TM? No, it wasn't TM. It's, TG. I'm thinking of TG, not TM. Like, TG was a big PvX guild that ended up fracturing into TG and then PVD. There was obviously Hardstock, which fractured into like Zera and Team 99 and a bunch of those other guilds. But VIP has never really had that issue, which is interesting. I think they just have a better leadership configuration than those other guilds. Which, well, I haven't been in TG, so I can't speak to TG's leadership. I have been involved with Hardstock's leadership at times. I can understand why their World versus World foray was not successful. I think is probably like the polite way to put it. They have like 5 sub-guilds. They just have the one. Now that restructuring is out, everybody who is serious about World versus World is in, I think it's Vengeance is Pain, maybe Vengeance is Pips, I don't remember. They definitely have like 5 sub-guilds, but they only have one that's World versus World. They basically use the same like mega guild structure that everybody else used for restructuring to come out, and they shunted everybody into that. The straightforward explanation for the Hardstock stuff is that Hardstock has a model for content that works really well in PvE. They have a very loosely organized administrative structure where it's very much like, hey, if you're in Hardstock and you want to do a thing, here's the perms that you need for it, and here's the guild bank access that you need for it, and go have fun. And that works great when you're on a mega server. And every single squad you run is 50 people who can also get to that mega server. Where it doesn't work particularly well is where you have to be on a specific server to get access to that community, and you have to do some of that preparation ahead of time. Because there just aren't that many world versus world commanders to go around. Vengeance is Pain and Vengeance is Pips are all the top claims. It's probably Vengeance is Pips. I mean, it's all the same guild at the end of the day, so they're going to cross over, but I'm pretty sure they consolidated into one. But yeah, like Hardstock's leadership model just didn't work very well with World Wars. And I don't think they ever really made the necessary adjustments to make it work. Like, in order to have that initiative succeed, they needed to be more proactive about recruiting active commanders that people could actually follow. But you don't have to do that in PvE because everybody knows how to run the metas, because it's a hell of a lot easier to command a PvE meta than it is to command a world versus world squad. And when you don't have active commanders telling people that a squad's up, you don't have people doing metas at all. Or you don't have people doing squads at all. So they all decided they were going to move to Stormbluff Isle. They got like 2 regular commanders. Those 2 regulars burned out immediately. Well, almost immediately. Because it was an enormous amount of runs that they were trying to do, and there just wasn't really any floating around, and then the whole initiative kind of fizzled out. All the people who decided that they were still interested in World versus World generally wound up in Team 99, which is like Regal's PVX thing. Or I think they wound up in Skyngang, which is Sneb's thing. And now they're the same thing anyway, because Thera and Team 99 and Skyngang are all in the same alliance. So, and it seems like it's working much better for them now. Like, they've got Darren's as a commander, they've got Sneb as a commander, they have Azure as a commander, obviously. I think they have 1 or 2 other commanders who I don't remember. Dickles, who stops into chat every once in a while, I think is like working on being a commander. He's getting his reps in. But really, like, you live or die based on how active your commanders are. It's going to be a world versus. Yeah. And that's not to critique like the looseness of their structure, because obviously it works extremely well for PvE. I just don't think that their administration realized that it was going to be a different process in World versus. Did SG get off the ground? I think so. He's a little busy personally because he's got the college thing going on. But I think that his community has benefited a lot from being in an alliance that has other guilds. Like, I think they just roster share, like, is what it comes down to. Is that there is, I honestly think, and I should spend more time running with Azure to actually divine whether this is like totally true or not. But my sense of the way that Zeg works, the Skyngang, Zera, excuse me, I had a relic. I think the way that that community works, outside of Elrenia, who has a really well-defined existence, is that they all basically just treat themselves like the same people. Like, Cornerstone roster shares, but there are still separate guild builds, and there are separate commander strategies, and there are like separate raid nights and all this other kind of stuff. I don't think that's really the case in Zeg. I think they all run the same builds. I think they all kind of like run at the same times, and I don't think there's really a sense of like it's roster sharing. I think they're all just on the same roster. And that's the way they conceptualize it. But I haven't run with Azure very much post-restructuring. I've been a little busy. So it's possible that that's not actually the structure that they're using. In my mind, though, no questions that it's worked well for them. Azure tags like crazy. I see other people ping his Discord every once in a while, so that weight isn't just on him either. Because he was one of the commanders who, like, sort of burned out when Hardstuck was getting started. Although I think he also had a kid around the same time, so that might be forgivable. Having a child does kind of put the clamps on your free time. So maybe it's not fair to say that he burned out when he literally probably couldn't find the time to do it in the first. Don't you dare. Yeah, the casual guilds also don't really define builds or strats or like general strategy, but it's been interesting watching some of them try to. I think it's fairly self-evident that this is a really hard meta to be a public tag for, and also that like being a public tag or a casual tag or etc. is just, it's more difficult in this era of World versus World. Because there's stricter definitions for builds, there's stricter definitions for tactics, and I also think the skill gap between good players and bad players is a lot higher than it's been previously. But there's some guilds that are like, no, we're gonna stay casual, we enjoy being casual. And this is fine, you know, we don't necessarily have to win. And that's the one approach, and that approach is obviously totally valid. Like, World versus World is a competitive game mode, but it doesn't mean that everybody in World versus World has to be a sweat lord. But the other approach that I'm seeing people take is there are some guilds, like VIP, and also like TM, that historically have been fairly casual, but because the meta incentivizes coordination and running meta builds and having some kind of strategy that exists across your squad, they've actually been like, hey, let's try and run a comp one night. Let's try and get coordinated one night. Let's set up a small group of people inside the guild that actually do want to try and get more competitive, and let's start experimenting with this kind of stuff. And that's been neat to watch. I think anytime you have people trying to spend more time on getting competitive, even if they come to the realization that they don't necessarily like it, it is a positive for the game mode. Because it's encouraging people to utilize the coordination, the theory crafting, the skills, and kind of the context that make World versus World a unique game mode in the first place. And so far, the guilds that I've seen do that have, like, been reasonably successful at it. Like, we did rounds with VIP last week. It was actually a lot of fun. We were intentionally down like 5 players on them to keep it somewhat even, because I know how good K&T is, and VIP knows how good VIP is. But even with a little bit of that handicap, it was a lot of fun, and I think they had a lot of fun too. Thanks for the follow, by the way, Phantom. You catch us mid-yap about World versus World topics, as is often the case. Yeah, I mean, it really benefits everyone, so it's good to see. I love that. Anytime a group is like, hey, let's try getting a little more serious and see if anyone likes it, it just warms my heart. Because it's another potential viewer for, you know, Chef Plays Games on YouTube. Obviously. I gotta pay my bills too. Have we missed anything up here? No. Well, yeah, but, you know, how this zone is spread out. 42% already, though. Don't worry, Prior Arcanist, I'll save you. Be gone. Okay. We gotta head back up this way to grab all the stuff we missed, though. We've made it down, like, right half of the zone. We'll go down left half of the zone. I mean, I had very much the same experience that you did with World versus World, where I was just like wandering around playing Staff Necro, and I was like, ha ha ha, this is neat. And then joined Unorganized Squad, and just seeing the coordination firsthand of like commanders making calls, commanders calling positioning, commanders doing movement, all this kind of stuff, I was like, whoa, wait a minute, this is actually like, this is a deeper game mode than I thought. But then I also had the advantage that I was coming from, I've told the story a million times. Sometimes people haven't heard. I was coming from World of Warcraft. And I did quite a bit of Battlegrounds PvP in World of Warcraft. And my favorite Battleground, bar none, was Alterac Valley. I absolutely loved Alterac Valley. But my major complaint with the Battleground as a whole was that nobody who played Alterac Valley gave a shit about Alterac Valley. They were there to farm rewards, and they had absolutely not a care in the world for tactics or strategy or like fighting enemy players. It was exclusively an honor farm and a currency farm. And that was all anyone ever used it for. To the extent that if you did actually try and like what we would call now command an Alterac Valley game, people would get mad at you for disrupting their like ideal currency per hour farm that they were using the Battleground for. So when I stumbled into Guild Wars, like World versus World specifically, I was like, man, this is all the good parts of Alterac Valley, but people give a shit about winning a fight, and they're not just here to farm currency. It was wrong. And I've been a World versus World main ever since. You guys want some ale? Am I allowed to give you ale? Who do I give ale to? Sample it. And throw it. Do I need to like put it in a keg? Do I need to install this ale barrel somewhere? No. But I can drink all these. Buying time for any event to start. Can I just have one wave of Skrit attack this camp? Alright, let's go look for more pasta drunks to splash water on then. Yeah, what do you need? Sure. I'll do that. Spoiler alert, I will not do that. Good luck. lots of conversations to be had about world versus world reward structure. A lot of good that comes from the external motivations. That is what I've been saying forever, man. If you made world versus world rewards so good that they were competitive with PvE's rewards, you would have people from PvE coming into world versus world to farm it for the rewards and not actually caring about the fact that it's a PvP game mode. And I actually think one of the things that has kept world versus world healthy long term is the fact that the rewards are noticeably worse than what you would get in PvE. Does that suck for players who are world versus world mains? Yes. But would it also suck if you got as much gold in world versus world as you did running Drizzlewood, and every map had a queue of like 30 PvE players that were just there to flip a camp every 10 minutes? Yes. That would also be very bad. Obviously, there's like a happy middle ground somewhere in there where like world versus world players make enough gold, even if it's not as much as a top flight PvE meta. And I don't necessarily know that we're at that point, but I can understand the hesitation in it slowly turning those rewards up over time. Because if they miss the adjustment a little too far in the wrong direction, you will have a flood of people in the game mode that are not necessarily there to enjoy the game mode. And I mean that in like, I don't mean that in a gatekeepy way at all. I mean like, there's a lot of different things you can do in World versus World, or in Guild Wars, not even in World versus World. Pick the one that you have fun doing, and then engage in that game mode authentically, rather than just trying to farm it by making the smallest contribution possible. Can you please just give me a staff? I just want a staff. It's Biz. I need to go to Biz. Biz. Yeah, I mean, like, one of the things that I have on the video slate for, I don't know, like the next 2 months or something like that, is like the intro guide to World versus World. And part of the intro guide to World versus World is going to include, like, here's the rewards that you get from playing the game mode. And basically the way that I want to structure that section is, like, you get some stuff. You have Dugan as, like, a way to get extra clovers. You get a decent amount of Mystic Coins from completing your reward tracks. But the biggest thing that you get out of World versus World rewards is actually just leveling convenience. Like the fact that if you do a World versus World raid every week, after a couple months you basically never have to level another character again. Because you eat tomes to 80, and then you exchange testimonies for hero points, and then you spend your badges of honor at the unidentified gear vendor. That's such insanely high QOL. To be able to gear a character in about 15 minutes, including the initial story chapter that you have to play through, by doing nothing but playing World versus World and just stacking currencies, that's very, very good. But there's a part of me that's like, maybe you shouldn't tell people that, because they might just come into World versus World because they want to randomly gear an alt. But then there's a part of me that's like, maybe that person who's just coming to World versus World to randomly gear an alt is actually a World versus World main and they just don't know it yet. Like, the number of people who have said, oh yeah, you know, I was just doing World versus World to farm a Gift of Battle, and then I found out that I liked it. Like, having new people come in isn't a bad thing. That influx is always good. It's just having them come in for, like, the right reasons. And I don't know better words to describe what I mean, but you know what I mean. I promised you I'm not trying to gatekeep World versus World. I just don't want people to play it if they're not having fun. Because then it detracts from, like, everyone else. Sisa, how do I kill these spider eggs? Gas guns. Math. Oh, he's literally called the Exterminator. I guess that tracks. He came in for Nevermore and never would have dreamed of trying it without the pressure. That's what I'm saying. You are extremely not alone. Is all poison? Also, why would I ever use Sedative Dart? I want to kill the spiders. Can't tell if I killed them or not. Maybe just like give yourself a little Aegis first? No, it doesn't appear to matter. Hey, people definitely complain about Gift of Battle. I think people who play World versus World also complain about Gift of Exploration. And I also think that people who play World versus World who complain about Gift of Exploration have a better point. Because Gift of Battle is like 8 hours of farming. Gift of Exploration, as we're demonstrating with this very project, is more. Like 20. Like, granted, you get 2, so I guess it's really more like 10. You just have to invest 20 hours of time first. And then you have to use both of the gifts. But I also, like, more broadly agree with you. You should have to interact with more different kinds of games. If anything, PvP is kind of the outlier. Like, you don't have to PvP for anything because Shards of Glory are buyable on the trading post. I've never had to do a PvP match in my life. Maybe I would like it as well. I've never tried it. I've never had to try it. Will eventually do it one day because I think Ascension is one of the best skins in the game. But it's one of those things where I have to sit down and actually, like, prepare to have the time to invest in. I haven't been into this mountain. Probably do that. Like, there's no denying that Ascension looks absolutely gorgeous. Hi, I'm here to help you defend your home by killing you. He is actually dead. We didn't even knock him out. He's deceased. I can only assume that these are useful for something. Maybe you put these in a scrap metal barrel? Yep. Oh shit, they're pissed. What the hell, man? I put one bar in a barrel and every single script is just incredibly pissed off at me now? Or is it because I killed one drunk script and you found out? That could be it as well. I fucking hate my ass. What happened? I didn't even do anything. These were not hostile like 30 seconds ago. I mean, I'm still gonna solve the problem. Just confused. Yeah, like they didn't even spawn. They were just born mad. Not that I'm going to complain, because I think just killing random NPCs is the fastest way to complete any Renown Heart. Hey, this guy's passed out. He's chilling. I'm gonna wake him up. I'm done with the Renown Heart. I don't have to do that. I'm just gonna wake you up to spite you. Is that it? Is that everything in here? Alright, we turn around. Gave us bad vibes. I think that's everything done on the north side. We are at 77, and there's like a quarter of the zone left, roughly. So I'm going to assume that we've gotten everything. Napkin math sort of checks out. Downheart waypoint. No POI. I know I've said I'm not trying to speedrun it, but you're intrigued by my complete avoidance of a path. First of all, that's rude. I'm taking a path. It's just very meandering and like poorly optimized. But it is by definition a path. And second, I will probably eventually cave and use a route. I think the thing that I'm more interested in is like there was at some point a brave Guild Wars 2 pioneer who invented the first map completion and sat down and mapped it out and was like, these are the things that matter and these are why they matter and this is the fastest way to do it as a result. And while I don't want to spend the same amount of time that that person spent in achieving route perfection, I do want to understand the factors that go into it. Like, basically, rather than just blindly using a route off of Glishad, I want to understand the factors that go into the route, so that as I'm following the route, I can be like, oh, that's an interesting way of doing that. The first couple times I did map completion, I did, like, Y instead of X. I want to understand. I want to enter the mind of the route maker. And I don't think that I can enter the mind of the route maker unless I have first struggled in the darkness alone. I also want to see if I just get faster naturally. Like, this one is... We're at 22 hours, 4 minutes. We're probably going to finish this around 25. Which is long. I've said previously I would like to get that down to 15. But I do want to map complete, like, 3 or 4 times without using a route. And see if my time just naturally goes down. Like, am I learning things? Am I learning things about routes without necessarily being mindful of them? Because if I am, I think that's kind of neat. Oh, I finished this Renown Heart. I don't even need to be here anymore. But again, like, you know, my background professionally in real life is, among other things, studying educational games for evidence of learning. So this is also like a personal exercise for me to think critically about like where learning happens in MMOs and other kind of factors like that. Of like, what does it look like to learn in an open world MMO? There's papers on it, sure, but I have the opportunity to live it. Experience is the best teacher, as many people have said. But yeah, there's going to come a point in like late September. No, now is late September. There's going to come a point in like late October into November where I throw up my hands and I'm like, fuck this shit, man. I'm downloading Blizzard. I can't do this shit again. And then we'll see how fast we can really go. I'm also thinking that like my consolation goal, my burnout goal, as it were, might just be to farm a stack of keys. It's a nice round number. It's definitely going to be done before anything else. And it gives me a way to bow out early if I decide that I've bitten off more than I can. Literally just like any one prison, you'll do. But I am going to punch you closer. Never mind. You're going to despawn. Sure, I'll take it. We've been doing a bit of map count for keys. You've learned about builds and hearts. That's the other thing. I mean, an overlay isn't, or a Blish HUD isn't going to help me with this. But man, just farting around in open world, pressing random buttons, actually, like, you learn a lot about professions that you're playing. So whether I were using a root or not, I do think it's like, I'm not the world's best Wheelbender player, but previously to leveling this character, I couldn't tell you how Wheelbender generated alacrity. I couldn't tell you how its profession mechanic worked, except that like it's a guard, so it's probably like virtues based. But now that I've leveled a firebrand to 80, I can be like, oh yeah, your alacrity comes from like using virtue 2 and 3, and then you leave virtue 1 off cooldown all the time because that's what triggers your passives. So while I'm probably not the world's best Wheelbender player, if I were to pop this into World, I do know some stuff. Like, after we're done with this character, I almost want to have Week 2 Chef, the next map completion character, be like a Lack Wheelbender. Or, sorry, a Lack Mechanist. Just to get the very basics of that profession down. And start to understand them for later when inevitably I have to play it in the squad. Or like DPS Mirage with the split surge greatsword autos. That's another one that's like just get the basics of the class down when you're puttering around doing open world stuff. If I didn't already know Hollowsmith and I didn't already know Berserker, this would be great practice for like Hollowsmith and Berserker. Of just landing dank overheats on people. It's like world versus world isn't really a high pressure environment if you're running with the right group. You can always like go and join a pug tag or something like that, but map completion is even lower pressure. It's like the absence of pressure. Parallel goal, try out all the specs I'm interested in and haven't played. There aren't many. That's an achievable goal, and it's an achievable goal faster than you would think. There's a lot of people. What you guys doing in here? Chilling? Vibing? It's basically like every thief, every ranger. That's 8. It's mechanist. It's Mirage, it's Virtuoso. It's Blade Sworn. There have to be more. There's no way that I've played that many professions. What am I missing? I'm missing one waypoint. I'm missing one hero point. I am missing a portion of the zone that I haven't discovered. Where would I be missing a waypoint and a hero point? Get out of there. Messed up. I have done all revs. I've done Herald, Renegade, and Vindicator. I've done a ton of Tempest. I actually love Tempest. I've done a little bit of Catalyst. I've never done Weaver, so Weaver would be one to add. Oh, it's in here. What's all this up here? That's where it's gotta be. I haven't done a ton of I think I've done enough Catalyst to like understand the basic mechanics. Let's see, Guardian, everything. DH, Firebrand, Willbender. Revenant, everything. Herald, Vindicator, Renegade. Warrior, everything. Spellbreaker, Zerker, not Bladesworn. That's heavies. Mediums. NG. I've done Hollowsmith, Scrapper, not Mechanist. That'd be down there. Ranger, nothing. Literally nothing. Thief, literally nothing. So those are the big ones. And then Light, I have played every Necrospec to death. I have done... Yeah, dude, this is it. Who needs a wiki? I know where I'm going. Necro, everything. Ellie, everything except Weaver. And then not Virtuoso, not Mirage. That's over half. It's not everything, but it's over half. This is up, not down. How do I go up? Yeah, Bladesworn, so 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. 11 out of 9 times 3? 11 out of 27? It's in this cave. It can't not be in this cave. We might still need the wiki. Hang on, do you go up? No, this is the way you came in. Go up. I'm losing it. Oh, so sneaky. So sneaky. I will not use a wiki. I know where I'm going. Okay. Get away. Don't come after me. He's coming after me. I actually think a lot of the Rangers would be really fun. I just think Soul Beast is going to be pain. Because trying to tame good pets when all you're doing is Corteria map completion and then deleting your character is, I don't think that's, like, the way to do it. I think that's, like, not how you're supposed to do Soul Beast. So that one might be a little challenging, but I'm pretty sure that, like, Untamed and Druid, I can just ignore my... Those, honestly, Ranger, or Druid and Untamed, I may burn testimonies on those. In fact, I may burn both books and testimonies on those, because I don't think that the leveling experience is going to be very good. But maybe not. No, this character's natty 80. We were base guard until we hit 80. Then we did it all through just leveling. And I think that's the way I prefer most of them. I don't know, maybe I should give Ranger, like, I don't know anything about Ranger. Maybe I should be giving Ranger a fair shake. We're playing Ranger because we don't know anything about Ranger. You should give it a chance to walk before it can fly. What do I do with mortar shells? Do I just throw them? Yep, you just throw them. Alright. Get out of here. It's all about learning. And this is something that you should learn without coming into it with any preconceptions about like how it's actually going to be. Bulky. Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things that I don't really know about Rangers, like what the hell does your pet do? What's it good for? Three zones to go, by the way. 3 zones to go. I tend to raw theory craft my builds or look them up and fully understand and then modify. For what? For PvE or for like guide videos on YouTube? Because they're very different answers. For PvE, it's very much, does this feel like it's working or not? And if it's not working, change it. But I do not look up open world PvE builds. I completely theory craft them on my own based on what I think is good, which is usually like stack power and turn off the rest of your brain. But for world versus world, because I kind of have myself positioned as I want to be a resource for players who are starting to play the game, they are always builds that are drawn from things that currently exist in the meta, things that you can find on meta battle, or are popular builds for people to use in the squads, with some minor tweaks to usually increase access to stability and stun breaks, or add a little extra tankiness to the builds to make them easier to. Like for the Hollowsmith guide, the everything you need to play Hollowsmith, I have Flamethrower on that build, even though I think E-Gun is probably slightly better, because Flamethrower and Juggernaut make it relatively easy to just survive and auto-attack while you figure out how the other parts of your kit work. I don't think that's the best raw choice for extracting like the most performance out of the profession as possible, but if you're new to the game, you're not going to be extracting maximum performance out of the build in the first place. You're going to be learning shit like, what buttons do I press when my commander calls for damage? And if you're in a situation where you don't need that, then you have a guild build, and you don't need my YouTube videos anyway. You're going to look at my YouTube video for like the rotation primer, and then you're going to turn the rest off. Which is fine. That's the intended way to consume that content. More about me personally trying stuff out, I 100% trial and error, and just personal experience. And that also, I guess that extends to some of the YouTube videos as well. Like, I'm not gonna, again, just to kind of keep with the Hollowsmith example, because I think it's a good salient example, I'm not gonna tell people to play Flamethrower Juggernaut without testing Flamethrower Juggernaut first and making sure that it actually does help your survivability. Like, intuitively it should, because it's giving you a source of stab and it's a very easy to use kit. But I validate it with, like, actual playtime. So that I'm not just talking out of my ass. Hello, let me out. I want to go up. There we go. Gamer having some problems, man. Unrelated, you've been having a good time with the Selly Renegade Zerg build. Great, I love that for you. I still despise that build. I'm glad that you derive enjoyment out of it. I loathe it. I just do not like that rotation at all. I'm glad that there is like a pseudo low intensity build that people can play in world versus world. But the idea that you're not allowed to press your buttons, the Scourge main in me is showing, the idea that you're just not allowed to press your buttons for part of the rotation, I hate it. I love pressing my buttons. Like, my weapon skills are what I do when I have downtime to fill between the other shit that I do. And Renegade is like, you can't do that. All you're allowed to do is press Road twice and Right of the Great Dwarf twice, and then you swap. Get the hell out. Enjoy 8 seconds of not pressing buttons and just rolling auto attacks to keep brutality up. Not saying anything about people who enjoy it. I'm just saying it's not the build for me. And yeah, don't worry about resistance preset. Give me a disguise. Where are they? Let me at them. Can I swim? Is it over here? Is it these? Is it these guys? I think it's these guys. The only reason that I put resistance stacking in that video is because I think it's a dumb mechanic and I hope that Roy nerfs it. I know that he knows it because he plays Renegade. But he's not on the balance team. So he has limited capacity to actually get it changed. And my perspective has always been, if there's something that you don't like, well, that's not fair. If there's something that you think is a bug in the game, the best way to document and get that bug fixed is to submit a bug report. And then the second best way to get that bug fixed is to tell people how it works. And show it to them. Be like, this is a thing that you can do, and because ArenaNet hasn't changed it, I can only assume that it's intended. So here's how you give yourself 30 seconds of resistance before a fight starts. Have fun. Yeah, Roy can't control all. It's shocking. If you're coming from the forums, you might find this hard to believe, but it's true. I need to go back to the forums, man. I kind of like unplugged from them after I got home because I had more things that I could spend my free time on, but I was losing it with some of the people in the forum. Like, there was this one thread that was basically just people complaining about how there's no dev communication anymore, and how because the dev didn't personally respond to this really good idea that this person had, that like obviously devs aren't listening at all. And Roy actually came into the thread and was like, hey everyone, Roy here. Just wanted to say that, like, we don't post on every single idea that's good, but we do read the forums, and we do think that feedback is important. We just can't tell you, like, when your ideas are good or bad, because that's going to generate discourse that's not productive. And every response to his post was like, hey Roy, good to see you popped in, but, like, since you didn't really say anything, I wish you hadn't. It's like, what do you want, man? Like, what do you want him to do? Besides, to specifically say that, like, yes, you were a good boy and you had a good idea. Well done, you. Like, he's never. You gotta find different avenues for that approval, because you're not gonna get it from a video game company. Not even like from Roy. If Roy could do that for you, he would. He's a very nice boy. But he can't. Because A, he's not on the balance team, and B, that's not how feedback works. Also, like, see, you're not a game designer, so your idea is probably not even that good in the first place. I think that boons should be removed from World versus World, because other people, when there's 3 people, you have 3 times as many boons, and that's unfair to me, because I play alone, and I don't like that. So you should remove boons. Fucking no. Fundamentally. I was casting meteor showers on a Zerg and somebody pulled me. I think that pulls should be removed from the game. Fucking no. Pay attention to whether that person standing underneath the wall is like a Chrono or a Reaper, and then like adjust your behavior accordingly. It's what the rest of us are doing. Can I get this disguise off me now so that like I can mount? Also, I guess Risen don't have a glide animation? Because my man is freaking out. Okay, never mind, we're back. We're good, we're chilling. Risen do not like gliding. He's wigging out. Just give me this guy's kill. Like, I'm not gonna say that I'm above it either. If anyone's like, you know, thinking that I'm a perfect forum participant. Because I made that silly Renegade video. And I was like, this one's really gonna rile people up. Because I'm gonna say it's like, this is your guide to playing the premier boonball profession in World versus World, and this is how you give your party all boon uptime all the time. And it was very obviously like designed to be the forum bait to juice the algorithm, because I thought it would be an interesting experiment to see if I could actually get something to like pop off and go viral by understanding what kind of people were likely to hate watch it. Didn't work, man. Nobody took the bait. I felt very stupid. I didn't like deliberately misrepresent anything about the build. It is like the most oppressive thing that you can do for boon uptime in the current World versus World meta. So that's like, that's not really a spot the lie kind of situation. That's just true. But I definitely put a little sauce on that forum title. And they hated the sauce. They were like, I want it sauceless. What is? Oh, it's the Risen clip? Yeah. I will feature that after I'm done. I just think it's interesting that they had like animation for it. It's just not a gliding animation. Like, that has to be the falling animation. They're like, what should we do if a Risen is gliding? Ah, just make it look like they're falling. Who cares? Zombies are people. But why, thank you. We can play a salad for the next character if that's the kind of thing that you're interested in. Put together a salad ranger. Like, this is the last thing I'll say about the forums, and it's not even technically about the forums, but it's not even the first time that I tried to bait with a title on a social media site and had it go wrong. Because the first time I ever did a balance patch preview, I posted that video to Reddit, and I was like, you know, it'll be a fun title because I'm a world versus world main and I don't take myself that seriously. Is I'm gonna say, like, you know, 98% of world versus world mains can't read. So I made a video that summarizes the balance patch changes. I was like, that's a funny title. I like this title, and if I was a Reddit user, I would click on this because it's good, and I think it conveys the kind of sense of humor that I have on the channel. People fucking hated it, man. It was like 20% upvotes and no views. And the people who did stop to comment were like, I think it's kind of problematic that you're implying that world versus world means can't read. They're just as intelligent as like other people who play the game. Live and learn. It was not appreciated. Where am I? What am I doing? Oh, I know where I am. I think I entered a fugue state and just walked all the way to the south of Mount Maelstrom and then forgot where I was. Because in my head, I was like, I'm currently north of where Robot Mark II spawns. But I also knew that that could not be right. Because I was very obviously at the southern end of the zone. Bird's kind of beating my ass. Maybe let's keep our H's up. We're good. Give me a second to heal, and then I'll come back. I am interested in your renown art progress. I just needed to take a breather really quick. Alright, let's go get this POI. Go pick up some of your pollution. Here's what I think I'm gonna do. We're gonna level to 80 natty. Because leveling to 80 natty is fun. It gives you a good opportunity to learn the basics of the profession. Then, when we hit 80, I'm gonna use testimonies to unlock the elite spec that I'm interested in learning for that character. And that should give us half, maybe a little less than half of the total time that we spend doing map exploration to actually play the elite profession that we're interested in. I think that's a good compromise. Because I do like the idea of just farting around on different elite professions that I've never played before to get a better idea of how they work. But I'm not willing to home myself to 80 to do it. Because I think that skips too much of the leveling. this, and then we should be done. This hero point. That's the pile of garbage that we were on when we were arisen. So I can ignore that. Grab waypoint. Grab heart. There is a POI on the platform. Is it starting soon? This is starting soon. Alright. I'll do Mark II Golem. Oh, he's literally like, you could not have timed it better. He's here. Dodge Aegis. Get out of that square. And just chill in melee. Okay, any kind of charge is extremely unreliable. Be careful. You hurl yourself to corners unknown. That said, I'm gonna do it anyway. Like banish, very scary. I'm in lightning. I'm in lightning. I'm not using Aegis. No, this one we dodge. Hammer 5 does not do anything if your opponent doesn't move. Aegis. Dodge. Actually, no renown or progress. Still though, let's get a world boss taken care of. Back to work. My foot is extremely asleep. This does not feel good. Gotta give you a break. giving me credit? No, they're not even giving you credit. You actually have to get one of the guns. Leave me alone. Have a good rest of the events. I will. Take care, Vision. We'll see you around. There we go. We've only got 2 to go, and they're both ore, so I don't think they're going to take a huge amount of time. Which is good, because I got to finish up a video tonight too. Hopefully. I would really like to, put it that way. If it doesn't go out until Wednesday, that's fine. But I'd rather just get it done tonight. If at all possible. Secret. Yeah, secrets. Can't hide from me. Good. Anything else down here? Does not look... In that case, I think we're going to start back up here and we'll work down the other side of this. Because Mount Maelstrom's fairly big. Not to do. We'll do this, and then we'll save all the volcano stuff for last. Wargs don't count, but Risen Hands do. And maybe Wargs do count. We're gonna find out regardless. Wargs do not count. Bone Whips will, though. Where's that hand? I'm gonna say that again. Okay, he did say it again. Turns out he did want to say that again. There's a rot mouth. Progress is slow on this one. Huh? Feels like the bone whips give almost nothing. They kind of do. This doesn't feel like it's going. Hands around. Oh, that's a good spawn. Bone whip. 2 bone whips. Three bone whips. This can't be the only place where. Hold on. I see a risen hand. Oh, yeah, they spawn further out here. I could just be going this way. Bone whips and shit out. This should hopefully be enough. Exactly lethal. I do need to get that POI in this cave, though. I know you can disguise yourself, but I don't care. If you just leap, they can't hurt you. Son of a... After all the times we ran past that waterfall. There's a POI there. Now, onwards. I just wanted to see if this was up exactly. Because I don't remember if Dieter's Garden has a POI or not. So if we just do this event quick, we'll be able to find out. Yeah. It does not have a POI. But you know what's important is that if the event is in front of you, you might as well. This is not a lot of progress. There's got to be a better way for this. Maybe Orient corpses. Much better. I know there's a waypoint and stuff. I want to grab these corpses. For all the good XP. On like one res. I just reses should be good enough, I'd assume. Yep. There's a Vist in here. And then we've got waypoint, Vista, POI, a bunch of stuff. Thought we've been to that corner already? I suppose not. Head north. Alacrity now. So now we want to F2 on cooldown. We have. That's going to be hard to tell because we're mounted. We have a celestial amount of boon duration. So we should get not insignificant alacrity out. Anything in that map? Yes, there's a renown heart up there. Ugh. Admiral. Oh, I remember this one. Just grab stuff. The brewer wants all the spare parts. Touch everything. Touching stuff. Also look at how much alacrity. Quite a bit. It's enough for 100% uptime, I'll tell you that. No, it's not. You're being deceived by the fact that you have 2 charges. It's like 80%. You would need to run quite a bit more boon duration. Probably right now, yeah. You are? Well, you're missing runes, so that's like a pretty big one. Sure, if you had runes, you would probably have quite a bit more duration from like monk or something. Very rude. You really just let these people live near you? Kinda messed up. Oh, no, this is an event. That makes more sense. Be like right here. Right here. Nope, that one's dead. Right there. Might as well finish the event as long as I'm in here. There we go. Then if we just go talk to the brewer, we should have more than enough spare parts for him to fix. Now we can head back down to Criterion Canyon. That little diversion. Canyon spiders give a little. And for artifacts. Made a square shape. That's a cubic reaction. It requires a priority worker's delicate touch. Cubic reaction, priority worker. Cubic reaction, priority worker. Cubic reaction, priority worker. Maybe one day they'll let me extract it myself. Today is not that day. That's a none. Oh, because I have to take the artifact out of it. I come over and dig it up, and then you just leave. You dig this one up for me? There dig sites? Or am I just gonna be killing spiders? Hey, lazy scholar, get up. Take this. Excuse me, priority scholar? Do you have a collection for him? Hold on, I'll be back. I don't even know what the scrolls are, but something tells me that I need them. Aha! Well. Alright, I feel like we've exhausted... Not exhausted all the... They respawned. But I feel like maybe we've gotten enough artifacts that we could turn them. Oh. Not quite. Done digging this one up yet? I'm gonna grab 2 just to be safe. Because I don't think 1 is gonna be. It? Oh, okay. You know what? Take 2. I'm going to see if a jungle grub gives me credit, and I'm going to move on with my life. I'm going to turn in a relic to see if that gives me credit, and I'm going to move on. Wonderful. Not much more now. South left corner of the zone, and then we've got Volcano, and Volcano is 77. That was fast enough on ages. That was that time. Not tanky enough. Hi, Zojo. I'll help. Sure. Zojo, you coming? It is not coming. Did I not start the event? What? Is that not Zojo? I don't think that's Zojo. Wow, that's really not my project. Still not. That event must not have counted at all. There we go. POI, waypoint, POI, hero point. Volcano. $85. Cloud Destroyer crabs. You guys ever not hard progress? You heard of this before? You know this? Wow. I mean, I'm sorry that this camp got attacked, but this seems great for me. There's all kinds of credit. I think I even need to res people. Surely breeze riders don't give credit. Nobody cares about these things. We're gonna res Vim, I'll res Vim. But that's it. Past this, should just be able to turn in a couple stones. But I think whoever the Renowned Heart is here is dead. Lork is dead, but it's fine because we're done. Something tells me that the tunnel up here is a POI. A feeling. Incorrect feeling. I've helped with this. I've also helped with this. The rest is going to be up to you, Amber. Godspeed. I've got places to be. Gonna lie, chat. The prospect of bed is exciting right now. Got a soldier on. Do you think that Traherne gave up when he was completing the first map? No. Yes, he was tired, and yes, he probably just wanted to go back home to the Grove to sleep in his bed. But he understood that there were things that were more important than getting his sleep. He understood that Etheria had to be mapped. Otherwise, how would anyone ever find their way? So we thank him. We respect his service by a map completing in his honor. Or something. I'm done with Renown Hearts. Okay. It's just discovering stuff in the map. There's one more POI that's going to be in the volcano. There's one more waypoint. There's one more hero point that's in the volcano, and there's one more vista that's in the volcano. Making sure Amanda didn't need it. Oh, don't invisible wall me. There's no way to fly up this. You all know it. They're not getting ready to do Mega Destroyer, are they? I am definitely not staying for Mega Destroyer. I've done enough world bosses today. And by that I mean one. But this does look like people are getting ready to do Mega Destroyer. I wish them all the best with that. Time to go do our last two maps. 303 out of 303 Renown Hearts. Oh, 2 to go. First short, Balcor's Leap. Today is the day. Knock it out. No Renown Hearts, only gaming. This is not the right vibe for ore. Hang on. We gotta switch that up. We need different vibes music for. I think this will do. Background audio. We can turn you up a bit. That's better. Take care of everything out in the water, then we don't have to worry about it later. How far out does not that far out. Wow, there's a vista. I should have known. Also, I'm pretty sure that POI is above. Not enough ages in the world to get me through that. Way up above. Statue I can get though. Backlight to come over here and get involved. And you're also aggroed. Get you out of here as well. Okay, we need to wait for these condies to expire, I guess. We're fine. This will be fine. We're gonna rally off this acolyte. And then we're gonna dump a ton of damage into the shark. Giving me all of these condies, man. Corrupted Melandria statue hits you, but I'm so far away. Is this good enough? You know, it feels like it might be faster to just die. Let's respawn at a waypoint. I'm not sure what all's going on with that. We might have to rethink our approach to that statue. Got that. The waypoint, I believe you can get from the outside. Alright, waypoint. Thanks for getting me out of there, it was very scary. But I need to go back there. There's no way they let me fly over it, right? Yeah, no way. I just need that last POI. There we go. Now let's go try that statue again. Oh wait, hold on, there's another. Also a Vista and a couple POIs out here on it. And then we'll try that. Landry statue again. The only thought that I have is be fast. And give yourself a lot of Aegis. And lo and behold, it works. So that should be all of the water done. And now we can do all the land parts. It just stays winning. High scale stays. Go under the temple first, and then I'll go up top. Alexander Duet, turns out not very strong. There's actually more stuff in the book. I thought. That might have been it, actually. I think that was it. Then we'll bail out of here. Then we'll go up to the top of the cathedral. Where there is a lot of shit going on, apparently. Gonna skip that then. I really know what's going on over there, but I don't think it's my problem. I can't reach. I have the waypoint, please? Thank you. Is that the only thing that's up here? No, I think there's a POI on this thing as well. I just haven't discovered it. Okay. Let's head back down. Pick up some of the stuff on the right side of the zone that we haven't done yet. Unidentified beverage? Don't mind if I do. History drink. Section done. I'm gonna let you guys work that out yourselves. Looks like you're busy. This is another hurt statue. Corrupted. So you just need to roll a lot of H's. I think we got a little lucky on that one. Portion of the zone. Oh, there's a POI over here that we missed. Hold on. I almost didn't see it. Down here. Don't uncover that. Yeah, it's just a part that's always in Fog of War. Hard to say. Looking alright. I feel like we've forgotten things at the Cathedral of Radiance, but we'll find out. Okay, not really where I wanted Vanish to go. Definitely not where I want to be right now. Get me out of here. I really only care about this statue. Holy cow, he hits hard. Oh wait. Break off. Oh? Are you leaving? I feel like this air elemental needs to go. Run. Great combat. Ignore him. You're out of combat, now try and go back. Give up? Sort of. I think he gave up enough that he'll leave you alone for a bit. Also, I saw that I got 6 memories of Site 10, but I don't know where they came from, and I don't even know how many more I need to make that variant. We're gonna not worry about that. With you? I thought there was a way to get into the tunnel system for... I know that if I go like over here, maybe it was over here. A way to get in there? Hey, let me grab this waypoint and I'll come back and figure it out. Down here? I think it's here. Yeah. I need to talk to this. I'm gonna need you guys to move. Oh wait, one of those is a champ. Yeah, I'm gonna have to tag up to do this one. I don't think I'm soloing the champ. When I don't really know how to play Willbender. Champ on my tag. Bud. Come to me and let's get this guy. How did I get in here again? It's over here. Also, maybe now that I killed all those lackeys, I can get it. I feel like Hammer's probably going to be the better option with the CC. Down here, because there's something spitting at me from. But can I try and kill your friend? Alright, back to the drawing board then. Let's see. What are some other ways that we could get some separation on this hero point? Besides doing something cheesy like trying to spin up a new map. You could try and drag them away from the hero point, but they teleport. I don't know how well that's going to work. We could try killing the veteran, which appears to be another part of the problem. Yeah, I'll try killing the vet. Also, give myself stability, so that I don't get immediately blown up on engage. Alright, veteran's dead. Now we just have to worry about the actual champ. It shadow steps and creates symbols. If you see it create symbols, try and maintain a bit of range. Try and break its bar. Not happening. And also you're only getting it to like 85. I think we might have to come back on that one. That does not seem like a champ that I'm going to be able to solo. I'll try and spin up like a new map instance or something to get that last hero point. But we can still finish everything else in the meantime. One. 293. 94. And there's a POI way over here that we forgot. That'll be 95. This thing. And then 2 more POIs, 2 more hero points. One of which we know about. Where's the ones that we don't? There's one. There's one. that part of the map? It must be that part of the map, because we haven't revealed it. Yeah, 1 POI, 1 hero point. Probably the closest one that's tested. Head straight out north. You have something out here? Oh. Okay. Where else haven't I been then? In here. But you couldn't really find a way in there. What about down here? That's definitely something that you should be able to review. You can also fly over the hero point and see if somebody else has come to take care of it. Actually, we would know if someone took care of it. No, someone has taken care of it. The event isn't up anymore. Did I miss the part where we got credit for completing it? No, it just was I was not close enough. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, the other thing that we can do that's like cheaty but it works is we can just use a testimony to. I'm not above that. But we'll do a raw first. I also like that option because it means that we can finish map completion in our Mistus Bastard. Can I please just touch this POI? You're gonna make me go inside? There, I went inside. Are you happy? I'm just gonna combat mount. Alright, last zone. Last one. At least as far as I know. I don't think you have to do South Zone. The numbers suggest that you don't. So I think I probably will skip South Sun, because I'm looking forward to going to bed. But I want to get this done first. You're not too late. Nice try. Oh, they're so fist. Yeah, we'll go with it. Yeah. I'm definitely getting sleep. In here, veteran. Quarrel isn't even with you. Just trying to fight this sword. Rotmouth also wants it. You can go away. Right here, you can leave. And you can also get out of here. And then I can also get out of it. Grant the cross from me or south from me? South from me. Don't necessarily need to go there now. I just want to make sure I haven't missed anything on this island. And lo and behold, I have. Go get this last peel. Then, waypoint back here, grab all the stuff in this camp that we just didn't. Vista and the hero point. Forgot what weapon I was in. Where? Yeah, down here probably. Grab you, head through this tunnel, double back on the left side for Temple of Melandru. Elite Risen. Definitely taking a lot of damage. So we're dealing a lot. Here. While you're here, I'll grab this. The wellspring of, yeah, here it is. The heart of orb. Or not? I thought that was a POI? I guess not. Well, let the record show that I at least know where it is. If we're done with that, keep hugging the left side of the zone. The base over here. Did that. There's doubtless somebody here who wants to fight. Makes you wonder what the point of the game is, for sure. Grab this hero point in the. Grab this PO. What's your problem? Pristine chest. Sunken rations? Hell yeah. I'll eat those. What's this at 60? Not yet at the bottom. Nor have we done Temple of Granth. I can't help but feel like I missed something. I think roller view is the right idea. Wait, what? What am I fighting? This thing? Oh, well, okay. Wasted a ton of my initial damage, but sure. I've solved your problem. If you could please let me out of combat. POI on the ship. 0 point on the ship. Don't blow your whole load on this pirate, because you need to save some stuff for the hammer after that done. Doesn't look like it. What is sleep? Clogging sleep is something that I'm very much looking forward to right now, but I'm on the last zone. I just hope Amanda's not going to be too upset when my ass goes to bed in like 30 minutes and she asks why I wasn't there earlier. Fuck off. How was your guys' raid tonight? How'd it go? I was saying after K&T ended, if I hadn't made a prior commitment to finishing map completion, I was going to stop by. Content was popping off for groups that were like 35 plus. We just weren't big enough to compete at the end. We even had a couple fights with IOM that were like 25 v 40 and still managed to come out ahead on some of them. Yeah, it was good. The content in the steer has been really, really good. I've been very happy with T4 this week. Who is on the way out, though? We are on the way out. Alright, well, we will be leaving you next week. But it's been real. Did I not get that? I didn't actually do that hero point. Well, let's go do the Vista. But double back for it. How did I screw this up? Oh, I didn't kill this thing. That's how. I missed one of the little turtles. You can definitely tell that I need to get my ass to bed. This is very sloppy. I happen to know the name of any of the dead tags. Striker is the dead tag that I know. But other people in Dead who you can whisper are Obastable and Pancake, the admins on the NA Discord. Also, I don't think they would have swapped maps with you anyway because they were having too much fun fighting us. Striker is definitely their most consistent tag that I know. But also, I think Striker's raid schedule is if he feels like playing, he tags. So I don't know if they have like a couple other tags that they share duties with. Yeah, because they were looking for me? We had no trouble finding bad men tonight, though. Bad men were coming to us. Felt bad for saying no because some of your tags are reluctant. I mean, it depends, man. Like, asking is a courtesy, and moving is a courtesy. If you've got a legitimate reason to stay on the map, like, no, we're having fun here, we think we can handle this fight, we're keeping a group distracted, etc., etc., I think you're always within your rights to say, no, I don't want to move. I think it's just when tags are like, no, we're not gonna move for you. But like we don't really have a good reason for why we're saying no, we just don't like you. That's when you start to get into like the BM map swap territory. Because we've had that issue too. Like we had that issue last week, I think, where Bomb was like, hey, can you guys swap maps? We need some help with a group that we're trying to break down. And we were like, no, we've got even numbers on the map we're currently on. You're on your own. Good luck, though. It's like, that's fine. That's just the way it is sometimes. You're beholden to your own group first. If your own group is having fun, then you have the space to do things that will allow allies on your team to have fun. And if both your group and other groups on your team are having fun, then you can start to make decisions that let enemy groups have fun. But there's definitely a hierarchy. Like, you would never spite your own group to let somebody else's group do something that you also wanted to do. That's crazy. Unless you were extremely selfless, I guess. Even then, like, that's not the expectation. $92. I'm missing 2 hero points. Missing 2 POIs. I'm missing 1 waypoint. Oh, Oh, well, that takes care of one of them. Yeah, I mean, it's complicated because it's not game mechanics, it's social mechanics, and social mechanics are inherently harder. But also, Dead is a pretty reasonable group of people, and I'm sure they would understand regardless. Alright. And then the other one is over there. And I think there's a POI directly under it. Is that everything? That is everything. Holy cow. We're almost done. We should be exactly 1 hero point short right now. We are. Because I'm too weak and small to solo a champion. We're just going to use proofs for that one. Testimonies, or however you want to call them. Boom. Sweet. No key. That's fine. Estes. By a single notarized scroll of Central Theory Heroics. Does dry top? Wait a minute. Wait, you don't need to do dry top and silver wastes? Really? That's not Corteria? Okay, can you please just give me the... Okay. Can I please complete the 1 hero point in Malcor's Leap, please? I don't even know what these hero points are. It's just saying hero challenge complete. Oh, those are the world versus world hero points. Hey, there we go. We found it. Okay. He's done it. And we made a ton of progress on legendary weapons. Great. So, hand with the champ? No, I got it taken care of. I used cheater technology to accomplish this task. So I'm going to clear this character off tomorrow. We need to strip all useful gear off of it. I need to make sure that these gathering tools... I'll do the gathering tools. That's the biggest loss if I forget those. So you're going to go in here. The gifts we should also move off. If there's anything else we forget on this character, it's not horrible, but I'm going to strip it down anyway. And then after World versus World tomorrow, we're going to fire up a brand new account, and we're going to, or a brand new character, and we're going to do it all over again. So I've got socials. There is a Discord if you want to know when I'm going to be going live. There's a VODs channel if you want to know when I've been live in the past. And there's a YouTube channel, which will have a new video on it tomorrow. A review of the upcoming Boundless changes in the October 8th patch. I will see you guys around for that. I will see you guys around tomorrow for World vs. World, if you're so inclined. And I hope you have a good rest of your night. I'm going to bed because I'm very tired. I'll see you guys later. Take care.